Hey guys, in this lesson, I'm going to talk about how you can also optimize your workload with using third-party apps. So using platforms, how you can also optimize the requirements section, because as you know, when customer submits the information, you most likely need to ask him more questions. And we can use the platforms, which I'll show right now, to help with that. So Fiverr allows you to actually use some sort of a platforms which will help you optimize the work. So when we're talking about the requirements, so when the client just places an order on one of your gigs, he needs to submit the information. He needs to provide some sort of text, some sort of login info if you're asking him, maybe attach files as well or pictures. And if you feel like the Fiverr default requirement system is kind of simple for you, you can use platforms like Typeform or Google Forms. And you can create your own form and then include the link and ask people to make sure they can fill it up. So that way it becomes kind of like easier, because the information you will collect from Google Form will be organized in the folder specifically for that client. So let's say you're offering some sort of content service, right? This is actually pretty good because you can ask the client to fill up the form, to include all of the pictures there, and in the G Suite, it's going to create a folder specifically for that client. So all the pictures, all the videos are going to be included there. This is very useful. Another thing, if you want to keep track on your orders, so let's say you have more orders coming, you're kind of like losing track and you don't know how to properly organize it, I highly suggest you to use Trello. In Trello, you can create boards, and I'm going to show you soon how you can do that and how we do that. But you have to design it in your own way, right? So I'm using it for kind of like I create my own structure, but it works really well for me and for my team as well. And I will show you how you can also create similar. But with Trello, it's very easy because you can put the deadlines. You can put the due dates, so you know exactly when you need to do at which date and when it's due as well. So let's take a look at Trello, let's take a look at Google Forms, and I will show you exactly what's happening there. Alright, so let's take a look. Here's the order I actually placed to create a logo. And you can see, and I'm showing this on an example of another seller on Fiverr. I'm going to actually show you his profile. So like this, if you need to use any of the logos or business cards, you can actually go and contact him. He's a very good friend of mine as well, and we do collaborate on Fiverr too. So what he has, and I actually implementing this as well on my content service. So probably if you're watching this now, it's already up. But in his case, I really like how he designed the Google form. So he has a link, says, please go here and write the best brief you can, right? And when I open this link, it goes to his Google form. He has his own branding. He obviously connects this to Fiverr. This is very important because Fiverr wants to make sure you don't take people outside of Fiverr and communicate with them there. They want to make sure everything stays on Fiverr. So if you bring them to the Google form or to other things, make sure you still follow the same branding. So you mention Fiverr, you mention maybe it's exclusively on Fiverr, or it's kind of like connected together. So that's why, and he also mentions here, he's like, once you have finished entering the information, please come back to the Fiverr order page and fill the checkbox required. So this is very good. That way you won't have any problems with that. And here he asks you for a Fiverr username like this. When you're going to use the form as well, it will be very easy to find what information you inputted based on the username of Fiverr. So then it has, ask you those basic questions, you just choose. So this form is very good. So you can create your own form. You can also use another platform in case you don't like a Google form, you can use Typeform. Typeform is also allowed by Fiverr. So I actually created one Typeform some time ago, and I shared with one of the Fiverr team, and they approved it. So make sure you can use both Google Form or Typeform. And with the Typeform, be careful. You cannot ask the password. So let's say you're doing social media work and you need to have login and password. So the Typeform, they're not allowed to have any passwords. So with Fiverr, I don't see problems with that. But in case Typeform finds out that you're asking passwords, clients, they might just delete your form. So be careful with that. The safest way is, of course, to not ask the password in the forms, just to make sure they can include in the requirement somewhere in the text box or somewhere in the requirement section. But in the form, it's just strictly towards your requirements on the style, on the layout, on the pictures, what kind of examples you like, and things like that. So this is one thing. Another thing, now to optimize your work, so you can use those two platforms, but then once you have, volume is coming to you and you're struggling with managing the time, you can use Trello. So this is how our Trello looks like. So it's kind of a bit inside information here, but like this, I'm happy to show you because I think it will be very valuable. If you're not using Trello, you should definitely start using. So one of the things I have here, so I have, for example, each column you can see here represents different team member. So I have my column, Konstantin columns, Dimitri, Valeria, Alina, Victoria, etc. Right? So that way it's very organized. So each team member knows what to do, and if you're just by yourself, that's fine. You can just have one column, right? But once you start scaling, keep in mind that this is also scalable with the team, because I have a team and we're using Trello every single day. And if anything, we can just input different kind of links or information to each one of us, and like this we can get it sorted. So with my Trello, I have also the tasks. For example, let's say like order messages. I have messages which I need to reply, which I need to take special care of, and all of them have due dates. So I'm sure you're understanding this concept. So it's very easy. I'm using it that way. I know some people use Trello for different ways. They, for example, create based on the projects and then move the tabs, but I create based on the columns. So each column presents each person, and like this we can move it around. Also with Trello, they have different kind of tools which you can integrate in Trello. So you can have a calendar, for example, right? So let's say you need to schedule something or just keep on track about this important date that something will happen, or you need to deliver something. You can use the calendar. Trello also have a lot of features, a lot of tools. You can integrate Slack Messenger. If you, for example, have a team in Slack, you can integrate that. You can also integrate Google Drive. You can integrate, you can see here, Time in List. You have all these platforms and tools, travel planner, right? So for me, I'm not really using much of those tools except the calendar, because the calendar is the most important. If I need to really set some deadlines or some important information to send, I just go to the calendar and I choose the date and I create the tab, and then I have it on my column. So there's a lot of things here. And of course, you can, the best thing about this as well, what I like is the search bar. So let's say you forgot something kind of like missed or just disappeared. You can go and let's say you can use the order number in the search bar and you can find exact tab. So let's say you have some modifications to do. So the search bar is very powerful. So we use it in the team a lot because we have a lot of videos, we have a lot of orders going on, and maybe if we have some mistake or issues, we can just go in the search bar and we can see who is responsible for that. And then we can understand where the problem came from. So take advantage of Trello. I know there's other platforms like Asana as well, and just a bunch of others. Personally, I'm not using them. I feel like Trello is, for us, is the best at the moment. But if anything new comes up, I'll be happy to go over and maybe as well include it in one of the lectures. But so far, Trello has been the best. Alright, so you have those two tools. You have Google Form, you have Typeform, right? And if your service requires some sort of complexity, let's say creating a website, maybe posting on the social media, programming, right? So of course you need to ask your customer a lot of information. So it's better to use those platforms. If your service is very, let's say, simple and it doesn't require kind of much of information, then you can use just simple Fiverr requirement section. I'm sure Fiverr is gonna improve their requirements, and maybe every month, every 2 months, they're gonna try to add something or update. So that's fine, right? So keep in mind about those two platforms, and especially Trello, because Trello, if you can start Trello right now and be more organized, you'll just say huge thanks to it, because it will really save your life. And I remember when I started you know, I had to keep track on the orders. So I actually started with a platform called iStudies Pro, and this platform it's meant to be for a school, for education, to keep track on your homeworks, to keep track on other things. And for me, I really liked because it had basically the due dates. So you can have those due dates. And then of course I find out about Trello, I integrate. So, you know, don't go to iStudies way, go to the Trello way, and your work on Fiverr will be much more structured and organized. Thank you guys so much for watching this lecture. Please let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you stay up to date with the group, you answer questions, you post questions, and we can grow together bigger.